Oh my goodness, he's dropped 2 videos, and this time he's not wearing his glasses. What's to expect? Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Levham's Labyrinth. I appreciate anyone that has been watching my videos and been coming through my channel. If you can be so kind as to drop a like, drop a comment, or subscribe to the channel and share my videos, that'd be greatly appreciated, especially those who are fans of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, or SWOGA for short. If you are a fan of my content, if you like how I speak, if you just like anything about how I'm going about my video presentation, just go ahead, leave a like, again, drop a comment, and just help my channel grow. I have been playing this game for 8 years, as I mentioned in my intro video, which is the Takeoff episode 00. Feel free to watch that. I'll make sure I leave a link at the bottom. Just trying to enjoy the platform, enjoy the game. Been playing the game for 8 years, so yeah. But let's go ahead and get into it. Levham's Labyrinth, Episode 2. The light side balance of Conquest, and are there GLs on the rise? As you all know, we have had a year full of dark side characters where we've had nothing but dark side releases for Conquest. And I can go as far back as prior to Bane, I do believe we had Malicos. We had DTG, Malicos. We had Scythe. No, we had Trench. We had Scythe. We had a slew of dark side characters for Conquest repeatedly for like the longest of time. So now there has to be balance, right? You have to bring balance to the force. So let's see what type of balance CG will bring to the game. My predictions for light side, I have a bunch of them, but I'd rather go into what I don't think will come to Conquest no time soon, based off where we are, based off the trends that we have. So let me go ahead and step right into them. The factions that I don't think will be Conquest characters, obviously, Jedi. If you saw my last video, then my exceptions to this would be either Yaddle, Gungi, or Huang. If you don't know who Huang is the droid who taught Padawans how to construct their lightsabers. So he has a cameo appearance in 2 episodes in the Clone Wars. I want to say that was during season 4, if not season 5. I want to say it was season 4 though, where Padawans were trying to rescue, or Padawans were getting their crystals for the lightsabers and then constructing their lightsabers. He shows blueprints on how to do so, and then he makes another cameo in the Ahsoka series, which, for those of you who know, Ahsoka takes place about 5 to 10 years past the events of Return of the Jedi. So for him to be around that lineage, that homage would be nice, but you know, we are still in that gray area of Galactic Republic right now. You know, we still don't have the raid drop, so we don't know what's going to come out just yet. But outside of, again, Yaddle, Gungi, and Huang, Gungi would be nice because of the fact that it's a Wookiee homage. We still have TB coming about, where, you know, for some players we are on Kashyyyk, some players have not done Kashyyyk, and you know, just a little boost, and a nice little boost to the Jedi faction as well. I gave a description of what could be a Order 66 tag, which I could probably pay homage or like discuss that. I'm saying pay homage a lot, which I will make sure to do a little less as I continue my videos. But yes, Gungi would be nice only because of the Kashyyyk TB planet and Rise of the Empire. So just having him as an extra boost, and then Jedi as well, nice boost. Continuing on with what I don't think will be added to the game, Resistance. We've already, in my phrasing, spun the block with Resistance. We've done it with Ben Solo, with Zori Bliss, then her ship. So there's no reason to come back to it. There's no reason to really even think about Resistance at this time. Clearly Galactic Republic, unless they plan to switch the game up and throw in a Captain Typho or Captain Tanaka. I really don't see them adding too much more in terms of a Conquest character for Galactic Republic. In terms of Mandalorians, where they just, for all intents and purposes, even though Darth Trooper Moff Gideon is not a Mandalorian, he counts as a Mandalorian when he's with Imperial Super Commando. So based off Imperial Super Commando's unique. So that being said, it's like we're not really going to see that. We just got all the Mandalorians that we were going to get added, which was only two, which was past Vizsla and then IG-12 and Grogu, and um, Legendary Bo-Katan. Basically, like we've already done that. We've been there. There's no real addition to add, right? At least not from Conquest. Gungans the same way. We've done all these marquee releases. If we were supposed to have another Gungan to release, it would have been necessary for the legendary event for Jar Jar Binks, and it just would have been there. Like it would have made it to where the team could function as the full team of five without Jar Jar. But that's not how they built the game, so that's not going to happen. Um, Rebels, Rebel Fighter, Rogue One. Well, I think with the release of Leia last year and the boost that we even got to Rebel Fighters with Captain Drogon, or with Captain Rex, we won't really see that. Um, Rebels again, GL Leia, we probably won't see a boost to Rebels no time soon anyway. And then Rogue One, I don't really see how much more fleshing out you can do with Rogue One. Rogue One is a pretty niche faction, so to speak. So unless you are candidly investing in your Bodhi Rook, your Scarab Rebel Pathfinder tank, which I need to do. That one I definitely need to do. Your Chase, which is the Chewit, and the Bays, Malbus, which a lot of people on the higher end are doing. I can understand why, because it's sturdy and whatnot. For me, when I was started playing and I was using them at that time where I was editing the game, they were okay, but then everything else meta started coming out. So, I will go with the more GLs because I wasn't a Revan bandwagon fan. I never joined the Revan bandwagon. So many people was so confused when I didn't have Revan. Point in fact, like I didn't even get my Revan up for real up until Leviathan came out. Once Leviathan came, that's when I focused Revan. But until then, and a lot of people are used to the Chase and Bays. They are great support characters or filler characters that don't require Zetas. They don't require what's the word? Chirotex. They don't require none of it. And it's great because at that point they can just go and you can just focus on them. So unless you focus on them, Bodhi Rook, Scale Rebel Pathfinder, your K2 SO, then you're really not, there's nothing too much more to flesh out from Rogue One. Maybe Jin's father, but that's a bit, there goes monetization. That is a bit of a stretch right there. Because of the fact that he only had a cameo. If you want to include Saw's oh my goodness, Lieutenant, then maybe, but there's not much content to really go into that. So yeah, Phoenix, again, we just touched up on Captain Rex. That's not going to happen. There's nothing really to talk about in Phoenix anyway. Young Ezra, there's no point. He wasn't skilled in the Force anyway, so not as useful, not as prominent. What Padawan? We're going to start getting all the Padawans now. You know what? We might just get a Padawan Anakin. I just thought about that. We might just get a Padawan Anakin. Why? Because they already have him set up in Lightside Geo. They might redo his kit. They may take away his AoE, but that's about it. Because he also had a mind trick too, and I would like his mind trick to be present. Like we don't have a Padawan Anakin in the game, so that could be different. But again, Ewoks. No Ewoks. We just had Nessa, however you want to pronounce her. So no Ewoks will probably be present in the game. No Jawas. No Jawas. Your Jawas. Why are we? Houdini? No. And that's all the light side characters I have at this time. Random factions that aren't light side, but I still don't think will be Conquest. Imperial Trooper slash Remnant, we just had Scout Trooper added for Leia in terms of her requirement. And then again, Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, he kind of blew that out the water in and out of itself. So that should be like on the wayside. And then Tuscans, they're Tuscans. We're not doing anything with Tuscans. Inquisitorius. So I don't think this is the timing to drop any new Inquisitors at this time. I think once we get past Galactic Republic, we could probably start error or potentially seeing that on the horizon for Inquisitors to be a Conquest character. I wouldn't be surprised if Marak or the Fourth Sister would be like the second half of the year's Conquest characters. Well, no, because we're in May now, so second half of the year for the most part. Who knows? Factions I also think that are unlikely to get a Conquest character at this time: Sith and Sith Empire. Why? Because we've been Sithed out. We've gotten Malgus, which raised Sith Empire. We've gotten the Sith Trooper. Well, not Sith Trooper. We've gotten the Sith Dagger, which adds to the Leviathan. We've gotten so many Sith ships added to the game because of Leviathan that I don't think that we'll be focusing any more Sith at this time. And then we just got Darth Bane. Why would we get another Sith? And Darth Bane by himself is beating our current GL. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't. It really don't. Two people. Two. Darth Bane is the new SLKR Watt combo. And for those that say, well, that's not the same. I don't. Same sacrifice concept. You throw the shield tech on Kylo. If your Kylo is at least relic 8 or higher, then your Kylo should be almost surviving anything. If you're smart, you siphon off a tank first, or you stun a tank, you siphon the tank, and then you stun an attacker, and you siphon the attacker next. Go into ultimate, you pretty much won your battle. It's not too hard. And then, okay, well, what if you don't get the extra turn? Throw in Hux. Make sure if you really have to throw in a team of 4, throw in a tank and preferably crew. But if you put your crew with your underlying force users like I do, then you're using a Faust. So yeah, there's ways around that. But no, ultimately, like, Darth Bane raises Sith. So bounty hunters. So bounty hunters are in a weird spot. They should be having more added throughout the years, but they have not. It's been like here and there, it's like sprinkle. So what I see happening at this time, maybe we get a Asajj bounty hunter in the mix. Maybe we even get a Fee smuggler. But again, it's highly unlikely because there's nothing like that's needed prominently. But again, if we get the Asajj bounty hunter, I could see an Asajj ship, her bounty hunter ship. If you watch Bad Batch season 3, then you will see her ship as well. Night Sisters. There's nothing else really to flesh out besides either the Mountain Clan, which we just saw in Tales of the Empire, or Morgan Elsbeth. And we can have two versions of her. We can have her Mandalorian Spear version, or we can have the Great Blade of Daka version, where she's fully Night Sistered out, and she's fully like in alliance with the Magics. That could be a potential nice possibility. Now, my oddball factions that could come around because of the fact that it's the season, or because of the fact that it's been neglected, we can actually have this. And I know these aren't light side, so don't rail me for it being light side. Now I said light side predictions. Separatists, because of the fact that the Naboo raid, Naboo, however you want to pronounce it, is here or is on the way. Two Separatist characters I think that would probably be on the way would be Riff Tamson. And some people be like, well, why would he be there? He wasn't even there at the Battle of Naboo. Mainly because Separatists still need like that extra. And Riff Tamson was a general that was actually on the battlefield. If you pay attention to Clone Wars season 3, he was out there gnawing. He has onset detonator. So him coming out into the game, just like, it'd be nice. Flesh him out. Give more reason to actually have a separatist faction that isn't like a fake separatist faction, because we have Dooku. Dooku is a separatist. That counts. We have Trench. We have White. You can't really call Jango Fett a separatist. It's cute. His abilities for the damage immunity is nice, so you can't take away from that. But yeah, other than that, that's not really it. So just adding that character to the game would be nice. Something else that could be a little different, even though it doesn't run the non-droid tag that Trench would run, a commander battle droid. I feel like this is a missed opportunity, or even a Kaylani, right? Even if we get a Kaylani general droid, and if he's with all of the separatists, he's not treated as a droid. That'd be nice too, because of the fact that then you could still capitalize on Trench, and Kaylani was a type of tactical droid that would analyze strategy. So if you put Trench, who is an admiral, along with a tactician, that should essentially boost up any state of planning, strategy planning, any state of military wins. It should dramatically increase. So essentially, having Kalani on a Trench team could drastically increase the viability of Trench. But pulling his straws, splitting hairs, so to speak. My second oddball faction would be First Order, because everybody knows that First Order, besides the release of the TIE Dagger, has not been shown love at all. We haven't had no love shown to First Order since First Order came out. We haven't had no lifters. We haven't had anything. And for me, I feel offended, because SOKR was one of my very first GLs, because I was running a weird meta where I was first order chasing. I wanted crew because the stuns, having a stun back then when it was GG, Padme, and the Revens as the meta. Oh my god! Like, that was having a irresistible stun back then was so god tier. It was like, wow. And then his lead was meta too, because it wasn't a lot of damage immunity, it wasn't a lot of dazes, it wasn't a lot of tenacity downs back then. So like, if you just getting any form of buff, if you're getting a status, any form of status effect on you, you're getting a buff. I mean, you're getting protection and you're getting health, as long as there's no damage immunity, right? But now we're so far off the forgotten path. We don't have no lifters for First Order. So one lifter that I can see, or one Conquest character I can see coming out of First Order, is Snoke. Another one I can see is General Pride. Snoke is obvious just because he's there. He can be a non-combatant for all I care, but just the influence that he played, which was ultimately Emperor Palpatine. If we don't want Snoke to be First Order, sure, he can be an unaligned Force user. I don't care. He can. If that's the case, he can be an unaligned Force user that get paired with Seer when you don't want to pair him with SOKR. Who knows? I don't know, but I just know that First Order, the in and out of itself, has been looked down upon so much or been forgotten about, that it can get a Conquest character. SOKR can get an uplifter. And even if you pay attention in this current set of Datacrons, like, why are the Datacrons the uplifter? Why is it that the Datacron got so much of an uplift that the effect of the Datacron, because it's on TIE Pilot Special Forces to uplift SOKR, it reads off like a copy of Bane's kit. If you really think about it, that much verbiage, that much status effect, that much mastery gain, that much ultimate charge gain should have been on a character. And I think when they put it on Bane, they wanted to make the game balanced currently, so that way SOKR would stand a chance against Bane, because at that point it's a Siphon versus Siphon match, and then who will win the Siphon match? Well, Bane is getting health Siphon, but Kylo is getting mastery Siphon. It's a bit of a difference, but if damage is based off Bane's health, it's like, what are we really doing? So I think that they again, supplemented the Data Crime because they don't want to give us a Snoke or General Pride. General Pride, he worked with both the First Order. He was consistently their president, and then the Final Order when he worked underneath Sith Eternal Palpatine. So that's all. Lastly, likely factions in question, the actual bread and butter of the video, the light side based factions. I think that the Old Republic will take a shine to. Who do I think that we will get as a Conquest character if we were to get the Old Republic again? Grandmaster Satele. Why? Because Grandmaster Satele, she is basically the light side rival of Malgus. And if you don't believe it, watch all the cinematic trailers for it. For every time there's been Malgus, there's been the Grandmaster Satele, except for the very last one where Malgus sacked the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. So, counter. Just having something present, a lifter. We only have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 Old Republic Jedi, so why not have like actual Jedi that fleshes it out instead of having 3 or 4 impossible. Just have it fleshed out. Honorable mentions that could possibly come up because it's Conquest and it's Old Republic. Adden Rand, that'd be a great scoundrel boost to the light side faction for light side scoundrels. The Handmaiden, if you played as a male through KOTOR 2, you get the Handmaiden as your companion, and then if you played as the female, the woman, you get the disciple. And so they both are interested. The disciple is trying to rebuild the history of the Jedi, while the Handmaiden is trying to understand her own lineage, which they both can become Jedi Masters. Mira, she's light side as well. She's a bounty hunter. That'd be a nice lift to the game as well, having a bounty hunter to the game that has a contract that's also Old Republic. Baeldur, he could potentially have an Old Republic droid tag, just attacker, something like Karth. And same thing with Handmaiden and Disciple too, because they're both like attackers. I mean, Disciple could be more of a support, but Handmaiden is definitely trained for combat. Why did I mention those? Well, potentially to lead to a Mitra Surik legendary. I think personally, since Capital Games has taken the time to create characters just from visuals, if they decided to really, really follow other visuals, they can potentially create a Mitra Surik character based off the visual of the Force Ghost in Star Wars: The Old Republic when it came to the Reverend Reborn, which leads to my GL prediction, Reverend Reborn. I don't see why we don't have Reverend Reborn, because I can even go a step further and throw in additional like Old Republic characters from the second Old Republic that can help boost or promote such a GL event. Mandalore, which is Canderous 2.0. You needed Mandalore. Without Goto, without Mandalore, you wouldn't be able to board the Ravager and be able to be as successful as you could be, right? Goto, Mitra Surik gets captured on Goto's ship, so you have to ultimately confront Goto, which is the person you need to confront in general to essentially make things happen on Nar Shaddaa. So that's just that. Other UFUs, underlying Force users. So in my last video, I mentioned a new Ezra / a new Sabine from the Ahsoka show. Even in this regard, I even say Eno Cordova from Fallen Order. Again, trying to stay on the light side track of things. I think that we haven't had enough fleshed out UFU users or characters. So just again, the Ezra, Sabine, or Eno Cordova could be nice. Clones, we aren't done. We're still in the Galactic Republic phase right now. So clones that could come about right about now would be, even though I say Galactic Republic would be unlikely, clone troopers as a faction could be different. So those for clone troopers would be Wolf, Gregor, Crosshair. Crosshair definitely could be a big one. We still haven't gotten him. We are through 3 seasons, all 3 seasons of the Bad Batch. There's no Crosshair, which leads me to believe that Crosshair could definitely be next as the Conquest character, because he would probably add a lot of viability to both Empire and clone factions. Give clone factions that random that we haven't had, especially since we have Captain Rex. He does provide like viability for clones, but realistically speaking, we can't use a Cody Lee no more. Like why are we using? Who uses Cody anymore? There's no real synergy for that. Like granted, there's protection, but there's not enough multi attacks. There's not enough assists for that. Crosshair could be a link. I wouldn't say should, but he could be a link for that, and it just depends. Life size scoundrels. Fee. I can see Fee coming to the game as either a pirate, smuggler, so to speak. A smuggler will work better because of the fact that she would try to get rare items in and out of her possession, and acquiring them through different means, so to speak, doing trades. Most bounty hunters don't do that. Scoundrels tend to, so it kind of falls in the smuggler, especially when you're acquiring rare goods. Can we get a bounty hunter aside? Maybe. I could potentially see that. And her being a light side, probably, only because she isn't trying to put malintent into the galaxy anymore. She's just trying to duck her head and stay afloat. She does have a good heart. While she practices cynicism, she does not. It's not as though she doesn't know kindness, so it's a potential that she could be there. I did mention Gunji as a potential opportunity for a Conquest character, but at the same time, he may or may not come. So who knows? We don't have enough about Gunji, but when do we really have enough about characters or backgrounds anyway for us to just throw a character out there? Stap. Stap hasn't been seen in I don't know how long. Granted, last time we probably seen a Stap was in the Clone Wars, but outside of that, like we're not really seeing. There's no background, but yet we have a Stap. So anything could be added to the game. It just all depends on how CG wants to go. Again, Wookiees, Gunji could be a good Wookiee and Jedi boost as well. So we'll see. Lastly, because I did say GL predictions. So as you already heard me say, I made a prediction for GL Revan Reborn. In my last video, I mentioned the father, the daughter, and the son, which in a sense, even for Conquest characters, we can have an unaligned Conquest character. The father, that would be nice. Switch things up just a little bit different. The daughter could be a good Conquest character as well. Synergize and light side unaligned Force users, as well as the son. That random, but the son could also be a dark side unaligned Force user that synergizes unaligned dark side unaligned Force users as well. So just a few things that could be thrown out there. The father could be a GL as well. I'm not too sure where I would go with that. I don't know like what you would use for that in terms of like the requirements, but who knows? And then lastly, my favorite, which I feel like would make the most sense given the trend, I think that we probably might have a Galactic Legend Palpatine on the way, right? Because of the fact that we have so much Separatists, we have so much Galactic Republic. We have no Chancellor. We only have Sidious. We only have Emperor Palpatine. We only have Sith Eternal Palpatine. We don't have no, like, before Order 66 was executed, Palpatine, and I think that would be nice to have. The way that he was able to play both sides, I think that Dooku will be required for sure. Newt Gunray, Anakin, Sidious. I think a lot of characters just in general will be required just for that. A Grandmaster Yoda, so to speak. Who knows? Some people will say, well, there's no really need for it. Like, we have we have Darth Sidious, we have Emperor Palpatine, so there's really like what other point? But think about it like this: what other way is the game going to go? And then on top of that, we just had a light side GL, so I thought about that, and I don't know who else will be a dark side GL. Just saw a video. Maybe we have a GL Dark Tyrannus. Maybe. Maybe it's time for the neutral faction to get more fleshed out. Who knows? But tell me what your thoughts. Tell me what you think should be the next Conquest character. We have less than a week left before Conquest is left, and then we go on a We started Grand Arena lock-in. It's finishes today. It closes today. So we have 3 weeks of Grand Arena, and within the next 2, we should be finding out what is coming out for Conquest. So that should be fun. That being said, I hope you all enjoyed my video. I see that my videos are 30 minutes. Will try my best to like dumb them down, but I just have a lot to talk about because I love Star Wars. Like, if you don't love Star Wars as much as me, and some people say, well, no, you don't love Star Wars. I like lightsaber dueling with the actual like Ultra Saber and all the other brand lightsabers. I like dueling so much. But that's another story for another day. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you later, L Runners, in the next episode of Levham's Labyrinth. All right, bye. Have a good day.